Hello friends and welcome to my channel. I have 2 cards and a gift tag holder featuring Altenews Perfect Gift. This gorgeous stamp set with beautiful sentiments has a coordinating die set, stencil set, and embossing folder. And it's all about expressing gratitude, truly the perfect gift. The flowers for all 3 projects are being stamped with black ink on white cardstock. I'll also be using the coordinating 2-piece stencil set. This makes for fast and easy coloring. Altenews Fresh Dye inks are made up of 4 inks that create a gradient. I'll be demonstrating the flower with the Golden Sunset inks. They are lined up lightest to darkest in the order that I'm going to be using them. Stencil 1 will be repositioned 4 times. There are edge lines between each section. I just finished up with Citrus Burst and now I'm moving on to Fresh Lemon. For the other 2 flowers, the family of inks found in Blushberry Bliss was used for the pink flower, and for the one that has more of a red tone to it, I used Red Sunset. Moving on to the 3rd section, I'll be applying maple yellow to the petal, and at the base of it, I'll be doing the darkest yellow called Honey Drizzle. For this last section, the leaves will be colored in with a couple of inks from Green Valley, starting off with Firefly on the base layer, and then adding in a dark green Shadow Creek right at the base to add some depth. On to stencil 2. For this stencil, there are 3 different sections. The first section is going to add in some more depth to the overall flower, and for this one I'm using my darkest yellow ink, Honey Drizzle. The next section on this stencil is going to add in some details onto the leaves. I'll be applying Shadow Creek again. More pressure is applied so that it is darker than the shadow area at the base of the leaves. And there we go, a gorgeous flower completed in no time at all. The 3rd section on this stencil colors the frame, which I did not use for my cards. All of the flowers are being cut with the coordinating die. I'll then take the die-cut flower and line it up to the embossing folder. Though I'm not showing it, I actually used some low-tack tape to hold the die-cut in place. The folder embosses both the flower and a beautiful frame. I've embossed a panel of white cardstock that was 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and now I'm lining up a secondary sentiment onto the panel. And before I commit to stamping it in black ink, I did double check to make sure it was straight on the grid. And I'll be doing all of my stamping for the 3 projects at the same time. For the tag, I'm using the Scandinavian tag die set. This set includes the tag, which can be used on its own, and also a couple of pockets with different designs to create a gift card holder. And although the design will be covered up with the flower for this one, I love that you can have options. It just increases the versatility. For the second card, the white panel was flipped around so that the flower would be on the other side. And for this card, I'll be using 2 secondary sentiments. And I've got everything lined up, so now I can remove those die-cut pieces and stamp them. I love to use the stamp wheel when I'm stamping. It helps me to be able to ensure that everything will line up when I stamp it a second time. And the second stamping will result in sentiments that are crisp and dark. In addition to the outline of the flower, the die set also includes a beautiful sentiment, Perfect Gift. I'll be using these sentiments on the cards, and one is being die cut from pink cardstock, the other from a soft green, and they are being mounted onto foam die cuts. Before I pop them out of the excess foam, I am going to set them aside and let the glue dry completely. So in the meantime, I can start putting my tag together. On the little pocket, there are 3 score lines. They are creased, and then using a bone folder, they are burnished well. I like to fold the bottom up first and then have the 2 sides overlapping each corner of it. And as you can see, I burnish it several times to get those tabs to lay down nice and flat. Next, I'll apply the adhesive first on the bottom and then the two sides. I make sure that the tabs are well covered, but I am applying thin streams so that when it is placed on the tag, the adhesive is not going to ooze out. And then this is set aside to dry with some weight on it, and now I can go ahead and continue working on the cards. Both card fronts are going to be adhered to A2 size panels that are matted in the same cardstock that was used to cut the sentiment from. The mats for both cards measure 4 1/8 inches by 5 3/8 inches. And the foam back sentiments are dry, so I'll use my craft pick and help release it from the excess foam. The sentiment is adhered to the top end of the embossed frame. The embossed flower is going to sit on top of the embossed flower that is on the panel, and it will fit like a glove. I'll add my adhesive to the flower, and it is going to be perfectly aligned to the frame on the panel. It's like two puzzle pieces coming together. And now that the cards are more or less completed, I can turn my attentions to the tag and adhere the flower to the top of the gift card holder. And I've popped in a gift card just to make sure that nothing is sticking where it shouldn't be sticking and everything is looking good. For the tie, I'm going to be using some pretty pink tulle. This tulle is covered with iridescent confetti. It is really something. Put the two ends together and squish them down tightly and feed it through the hole and loop it. I'll add in a few embellishments. The confetti will coordinate with each of the cards. I'll be using a soft green, pink, and for the tag, a clear iridescent. And then, as I am apt to do, all of the confetti is going to be finished off with Nuvo Crystal Drops Morning Dew. It looks cloudy when it's wet, but when it dries, it is clear and it'll give the confetti a jewel-like appearance. And that wraps up this project featuring Altenew's Perfect Gift Collection. This really is a gorgeous set of products. The expressions of gratitude included with the stamp set are just so touching and beautiful. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I appreciate your visit.